Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the next game in the Cincinnati Reds replay. Had one snafu that made me a little bit later starting this than I wanted to. For some reason, I cannot find the Scott Scudder card, and he's the starting pitcher for today's game for the Reds. So I went back to a previous video where he started against the Cardinals and was able to pull his qualities. He's a workman, semi-flash, and semi-prospect. He's also stoic as a runner. So I'm going to use that until I can find his card. I'm sure it's around somewhere. I looked in the Cardinals to make sure I didn't put it there. I looked through the Reds real good. I just couldn't find it. It may have gotten knocked behind a table or something. Who knows? So until I can find it, if and when I can find it, we will be using this alternate for Scott Scudder just to get through the game. And hopefully that won't be too much trouble. No trouble on the mound for the Cubs. It's Greg Maddux, a right-hander. So advantage fully with the Cubs in this one, you would think. But that's why you roll the dice. Sometimes dice come up with strange things. So let's look at the records for each team. Now the Stratomat computer is simming the games other than Cincinnati. So the Cubs enter the game 14-13. The Cincinnati Reds enter the game 17-8. Cubs are going to be neutral by default because they always are. Their opponents are always neutral. We will do the game day checks on. Yeah, you kind of got that right, Dav. We'll do the game day checks on Cincinnati to see how they will fare on the game day checks. And if we look at the previous game from Cincinnati, it was against the Pirates. And Cincinnati was able to beat the Pirates, split that 2-game road trip. So they have a 1-game winning streak. So we're going to roll the D6. If it comes up as a 1, they'll be fully harmonious. If it comes up 2 through 6, we'll roll the decider die to find out if it's semi-harmony or semi-dissonance. It's a 2, so we're going to need the decider die. Are the Reds ready to keep winning? No, they are not. So they're going to be semi-dissonant, and they'll be off the stormy side of the chart. As we go to the previous game, see what carries over. Rob Dibble is still happy till further notice that he has not been bumped off of that. So even though the Reds are semi-dissonant, if Dibble pitches, they will be fully harmonious because Dibble is happy until further notice. All right, so we're going to roll on the game day chart for the Reds. Make sure there are no injuries or anything like that that might come up. So we get to our stormy side of the chart. Since they are fully dissonant, we'll be on the stormy side. If we get a 6, it's a possible injury. Anything else would go off this chart here. It's a 6. What do you know? It's possible injury. So the starting lineups that I have listed may very well change based on the injury chance. So we go to the injury table and see what we get. We get a 3, which is an outfielder. All right, which outfielder? We're going to look right here. 1 or 2 is the right fielder. 3 or 4 is the center fielder. 5 or 6 is the left fielder. We are looking at the right fielder. So it's an injury on Paul O'Neill. Injury Paul O'Neill. How long? We're going to look right in here to see what the how long is. That's a 2, which means it's 1 game. So Paul O'Neill is just going to miss this game only. But since he is in the starting lineup, we're going to have to replace him and figure out what they're going to do here. So O'Neill will be lifted due to injury. And the right fielder for this game now is going to be Rolando Rooms instead. So Rolando Rooms will take over in right field for Paul O'Neill. As O'Neill unable to go, a game time scratch for Mr. O'Neill. Rooms, his only quality that he carries with him is he is stoic. He's a neutral fielder. So that's the game day check. So Mr. O'Neill is out of this game. He'll be eligible to come back tomorrow. And Orlando Rooms will take over in his spot, the number 5 position. All right, so with that in mind, now let's look at the new starting lineups. Well, the Cubs are the same. They're as played. Jerome Walton in center, Sandberg at second, Grace at first, Dawson in right, Dwight Smith in left, Curtis Wilkerson at third, Dunston at short, Girardi catching, and Greg Maddux pitching. For the Reds, Chris Sabo's at third, Winningham is in center, Larkins at short, Benziger is at first. Now Rooms has replaced O'Neill in right, Hatcher in left, Oster at second, Oliver catching, and Scudder is the pitcher. Hot and cold players. I'm just going to do the old Steve Tower method. Number 2 is hot. Number 8 is cold. And for the Reds, off their previous game, Winningham's the hot batter, and Benziger is the cold batter. All right, so I think all those prelims are out of the way. So the Reds down 1 man on the bench because now they lose the services of O'Neill. He can't even pinch hit. Can't do anything. He won't do a thing. He will not be involved whatsoever. So let's get this thing fired up and ready to go. Scudder will be making, for him, he will be, let's see how many starts. I think he's only had 1 start. He just had that 1 start against the Cardinals where he was just so bad. Yep. So he's 0-1 with an ERA of 31.50. Unbelievable. He was 5-5 with a 4.50 in real world. 2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 walks, no strikeouts. So not very good, obviously, for Scott Scudder, but he's hoping to turn it around here against the Cubs. But that remains to be seen. Jerome Walton will step into the batter's box, and Scudder will be doing his thing. Remember, I can't find his card, so I wrote down his qualities. Workman, semi-flash. That's a semi-flash. Make sure the dot is prevalent. Semi-prospect. Not the best I can do, but that's the best I can do at the moment because I don't have his card in front of me. Don't know where it is. I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere. It's probably buried under some other, something. Who knows? Before we get going, home plate umpire or umpires themselves. Home plate umpire is Randy Marsh. He will call the balls and strikes. The big guy, John McSherry, is going to be at first base. Charlie Williams at second, and Bob Davidson is at third. All right, so now we are ready to go. This game was played on May the 11th. It's game number 26 on the Reds replay, which they are now 17-8. So Jerome Walton steps in, and Scott Scudder will let it go. 2-4-4. He's definitely not an ace. Is the batter a champion? No, he's not a champion. So it's a ground out to short. Unless he's a whiffer, he's a semi. The dot says he is. So how about that? Scott Scudder starts out with a strikeout. Nice start for Scudder. Going incognito on his uniform today. Here's Ryan Sandberg. 1-4-6. Does he have flash? He's got semi-flash. The dot says he does. It's another strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts for Scudder to start the game. How was that for something to start the game with? He started this game, of course, with an ERA of 31.50. Let's see what 2 strikeouts do for him. His ERA just dropped to 23.63 now. All right, here's Mark Grace, rather. We get a 2-3-5, and he's not wild. Is the batter eager? No, he's not eager. It's a ground out to second, and that's going to end the inning. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Scott Scudder. How about that? Puts the Cubs down in order. And we go to the bottom of the first. It's Cubs nothing and Reds coming to bat against Greg Maddux. It'll be Sabo, Winningham, and Larkin due up for the Reds. First of a 3-game series here against the Cubs and a long homestand. They've got the Pirates and Cardinals coming to town. So after a long road trip, they are certainly glad to be back in the friendly confines of Riverfront Stadium. Chris Sabo hitting .293, a homer and 7 driven in. That's a 5.56. Is the pitcher an ace? No, he's a semi-star, but not an ace. Sad sack, no, it's going to be a double for Chris Sabo. Leadoff double, Chris Sabo. And they jump on Maddox right away. Leadoff double for Chris Sabo. Brings up Herm Winningham. Winningham's hitting .217, a homer and 3 driven in. 3.44. Is the pitcher a prospect? Maddox is not a prospect. Is the batter patient? Winningham is semi-eager, so he's not patient. He's going to pop it up to second for out number 1. So Winningham is out of there. Pops it up to the second baseman, Sandberg, for 1 away. And that'll bring up Barry Larkin. Larkin hitting .336. No homers, 12 driven in. 1.25. Is he a struggler? No, Maddox is not a struggler. Is he patient? Larkin is semi-eager. He's not patient. He will ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's not a whiffer, so the ground ball to third is going to keep Sabo at second base. He will have to hold, and there are 2 away. So the leadoff double about to go for naught unless Todd Benzinger can come through in the clutch. Benzinger on the replay is hitting .270, 3 homers and 14 runs driven in. That's a 3.46. Pitcher is blank. Is he eager? He is eager. He's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So the leadoff double amounts to nothing. Chris Sabo not only doesn't score, he stays at second base. They couldn't even move him up a base. And at the end of 1, it is no score from Riverfront Stadium. Now for the Cubs, it will be the Hawk, Andre Dawson, stepping to the plate. .266. Is he the leadoff batter of the inning? Yes, he is. So that's a base hit for Andre Dawson. That leadoff check is for the leadoff hitter in the lineup, and also the leadoff hitter of each inning qualifies as well. So in this case, Dawson, the leadoff hitter, will get his base hit. So a base hit for Dawson. And that will send up Dwight Smith. 1, 2, 3, flash and fresh. Well, we know he's fresh because he's in the second inning. Does he have flash? Yes, he does. Semi-flash, and it gives it to him. So he actually gets a bad break. That's a strikeout. It would have been a double play otherwise, but it's simply going to be a strikeout for out number 1. One of the rare times a strikeout is a disappointment. Here's Curtis Wilkerson. 1.46. Does he have flash? Yes, he does. The dot gives it to him again, so it's another strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts for Scudder in less than 2 innings. He is coming back in this game with a vengeance. And keep this card whether I find his other card or not, just for good luck. All right, here's Dunston. 1.55. Is he a home run king? No, he's not a home run king. He will fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. How about that? 2 scoreless now. 2 scoreless for Scudder. Now, Orlando Rooms, who was taking the place of O'Neill. So Orlando Rooms steps up. He is hitting .277, no homers and 7 driven in. As we reset the Cubs real quick before we get going. Do some tidying up here. All right, here's Rooms. Then we'll get Dawson off the base pass. So 1.56. 1.56. Is the batter a whiffer? Yes, he is. He's going to strike out. So Rooms out on strikes, 1 away for Billy Hatcher. Hatcher on the replay, hitting .281, 4 homers, 16 driven in. 1.56, the same role. Is he a whiffer? No, he's not. This time we got outfield drama for the Cubs. In the outfield for the Cubs, Walton is iron, Dawson is semi-iron, and Smith is semi-iron. So only only Walton is iron. Everybody else is neutral. Center field iron, rest neutral. We get a 66. That's interesting on outfield drama. 66, right field iron, no. Dawson semi-iron, but the dot didn't come up, so it's going to be a flyout. Would have been a double, but instead it's a routine flyout. Hatcher is out. 2 down. And that'll take us to Ron Oster. Oster getting a rare start. He's hitting 250, 6 out of 24. No homers, no runs batted in. 1-3-3 for Oster. And pitcher is blank. The batter, is he a slugger? No, Oster's not a slugger. He's a scrapper. He's going to fly to the left, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Reds. At the end of 2, we got no score. And we start at the top of the 3rd with Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi, your batter. Scudder has lowered his ERA to 15.75. It was over it was like around 32 when the game started. It's 15.75 at the moment. Here's Girardi, 2-3-5. Pitcher's not wild. Is he eager? Yes, he is. It's a single through center. He was eager and jumped all over that pitch, and he gets himself a single. So Joe Girardi leads off with a single. That means Maddox is going to bunt. Perfectly set up to have Maddox bunt. Hello, alternate. Good to see you. So Maddox is going to bunt. And again, for those unfamiliar, the bunt's pretty simple. It's right here, attempt to bunt. If you don't roll a 6, it's pretty much a good bunt. It's a 6. So now we have to go to the, now it says roll again, and we come down here. 1-2, it's a fielder's choice, lead runner out. 3-4, it's a pop out. 5, it's a pop out with a lead runner doubled off. And 6 is a strikeout. Nothing good can happen out of that. 2 is safe at first on a fielder's choice. So Maddox gets the bunt down, but not good enough, and they will throw him out. Let's see where the bunt goes. Not to second, that's for sure. It's going to be in front of the plate, so pouncing out to get that is Oliver. They will throw to the shortstop Larkin covering for the force. It's going to go 2-6 on the fielder's choice. And Greg Maddox is your runner at first base. And that'll send up Jerome Walton, strikeout victim, his first chance. Hello, Colin. I wish it was my 30th. It would be nice to be that young. 2-4-6. Does he have control? No, he does not. Is the batter eager or sad sack? Neither one. This could be a walk to Jerome Walton. So Walton will draw the base on balls. That'll put 2 on with 1 out. And the first time Scudder has experienced some not so pleasant conditions. He's got 2 on, and Ryan Sandberg coming up. 2-4-5. Is he a hero? Sandberg is a hero. He's going to single to left, and that's going to load the bases. So how about this? Single and a single walk and a single have loaded the bases. And that's going to bring up Gracie, Mark Grace. Bases loaded and 1 out. Infield playing for the double play to see if they can get out of the inning. Scudder has to settle in against Mark Grace. 2-4-6. Control check, doesn't have it. Is he eager? No, it's going to be another walk, and he's going to force in a run. So now Scudder starting to implode as he has just walked in a run. Maddox will actually be the one scoring that run. Walton will take third. Sandberg goes to second. And Grace is at first. RBI walk for Mark Grace. It's 1-0 Cubs, but they may not be through. as Andre Dawson steps to the plate with the bases loaded and only one out. 3-4-5. Iron catcher, no. Does he have a good eye? No, he does not. It's a strikeout. It's a huge one for Scudder. That's out number 2. It's in blue, which means we're going to the right now chart. So that means Scudder is actually semi-hot based on this strikeout. And Dwight Smith is semi-cold because he struck out his last time up. And now they're both neutral. So we're going to the right now chart for neutral against neutral. On the right, and it's an 11, 1-1 on the right now chart. Both are neutral. Cold pitcher. No, he's not a cold pitcher. If he was, he'd serve a gopher ball. Otherwise, it's a shallow fly to right. And Scudder's going to get out of it with minimal damage, just allowing the 1 run. Cubs leave him loaded as Dawson flies deep to right field, but Rooms puts it away on the warning track. And after all that mess, the Cubs only score 1. Go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Cubs. Could have been a lot worse for the Reds for sure. But you give him Greg Maddux a 1-0 lead, that can be dangerous as well. So Joe Oliver will lead off. He is hitting 179. No homers, 7 driven in. 2-3-4. There's nobody on base. So there's no plate drama involved. He's definitely not the hot batter, so he's going to pop it up to third. And that's 1 away for Oliver. And here comes Scott Scudder. And he has all the normal bad pitcher hitting qualities. 1-2-2. Is Maddux a workman? No. Is the batter champion or a whiffer? He's a whiffer, so he's going to nub a single. How about that? Because Scudder's a whiffer, he's going to nub a single. So Scudder with a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Sabo. 1-6-6. Not a workman. Is Sabo a whiffer? Sabo is not a whiffer. So he's going to ground to third. Unfortunately for the Reds, lead dive 1. That's a double play. 5-4-3 around the horn. And Scudder is retired, and so are the Reds. So Sabo hits into the inning-ending double play, 5-4-3. And they come away empty-handed in the third. At the end of 3, it's Chicago 1 and Cincinnati 0. That result was in red, so we will be going to the experience chart for this next at bat. And semi-prospect against an icon. So the advantage definitely with Wilkerson. Oops, wrong guy. Let me roll the decider to see if he's a prospect. And this baddie will be a prospect. So it's an icon batter against a prospect pitcher. And that's a 46 on the experience chart. 4-6, experience. Icon pitcher. No, he's not an icon pitcher. He was sneak strike 3 past the batter. Otherwise, hard shot to shallow right field. Great play by the first baseman, flips to the pitcher for the out. So he got a good defensive play from Benziger, flips to Scudder covering for out number 1, and Kurt Wilkerson is out of there 3-1. We're 1 away. Got a break there. Could have been a lot worse with that situation. Here's Dunston. 4-4-5 for Mr. Scudder. 4-4-5. Is he a workman? Yes, he is. It's going to be a double to right field by Dunston. So Dunston cracks a double. 1-out double for Dunston. Only positive thing for Scudder is the bottom of the order is coming up. You got Girardi and Maddux. So he might be able to get out of this. 5-5, not like that he won't. 5-5-6, he's not an ace. Yeah, Girardi's not a sad sack. It's another double. So back-to-back doubles. And the Cubs now lead it 2-0. And Scudder starting to show signs of fading again. And that brings up Maddux with 1 out. Girardi at second base. 2-2-3. 2-2-3. he's not wild. Is Maddox a slugger or utility? He is a utility, so he will line out to short unless he's a whiffer, which he is, so he will strike out. Maddox out on strikes, 2 down. Back to the top of the order for Jerome Walton. Walton is walked and struck out. And as far as strikeout goes, that's 6 strikeouts for Scudder. That's a 1-2-4. It's a control check. He doesn't have it. Is Walton eager? No, he's not. So he's going to walk. So Walton will get the free pass. And to go along with those 6 strikeouts, that's now the 3rd walk issued by Scudder. And the Reds bullpen might start to stir. Sandberg is your batter. Left-handed action in the Reds bullpen. Looks like Tim Burtsis is loosening right now to possibly make an appearance. We shall see. There are 2 outs, and 1 run is in and 2 are on. Here's Sandberg. 1-4-4. Flash. No, he does not have the flash. The dot didn't give it to him. Is he a hero? Yes, he's a hero. It's a single to right field. Lead die of 1 with 2 outs. The runner on second will score. Everybody else gets 1 base. So it's an RBI single for Ryan Sandberg. And it's now 3-0 Cubs. Scoring is Dunston. Stopping at second is Walton. 3-0 Cubs. And I believe that's going to do it for Mr. Scudder. Scudder, Lou Piniella has seen enough of Scudder, so he will leave. And Tim Burtsis will be coming on to try to get out of this mess. Can't close the book on Scudder just yet. His ERA right now stands at 15.88, which is about half what it was when the game started, but both runners on base are his responsibility as well. So they go to the bullpen for Tim Burtsis, who will be an ace on this first at bat. When you come in the middle of an inning, you do gain that quality of the ace on the very first at bat. So Burtsis will be an ace with flash against Mark Grace. Lefty on lefty matchup. .225. Is he a star? No, he's not a star. It's better slugger or a sad sack. He's neither one. That's a single to center field, and that's going to load the bases on a lead die of 2. So the bases are loaded for Andre Dawson. Not a good proposition if you're the Reds. Dawson coming up with the bases loaded and 2 outs, 2 already in. Dawson is singled and struck out. 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? He is not a whiffer. It means we have outfield drama for the Reds. And everybody in the outfield is neutral. There is no one in the outfield that has a rating for defense. In fact, everybody on their team in the starting lineup, other than Ron Oster, he's the only one. He's semi-iron. Everybody else has a neutral fielding quality. So it's all neutral. We get a 45 on the outfield drama. 45, outfield drama. Center fielder gold. No, he's not gold. It's going to drop for a single. And it's a lead die of 4, so 2 runners are going to advance, or 2 base runners advance 2 bases, plus we go into the experience chart for the next at bat, since that's in red. So Walton and Sandberg will both score. Grace will take third, and Andre Dawson has a 2 RBI single, and it is now 5-0 Cubs, which is kind of what I expected when I saw the pitching matchup, but I was hopeful that we would get something closer than this. But unfortunately for the Reds, Burtsis couldn't do it either. And that will send up the 9th man to bat in the inning, Dwight Smith, but it's off the experience chart. Burgess is neutral. Smith is a semi-prospect. Will he be a prospect? Yes, he will. So Burgess is neutral, and Smith is a prospect on the experience chart. Prospect batter, neutral pitcher on the experience chart, 25. Icon batter. No, he's not an icon batter. If he was, he would anticipate the pitch and chop a single. Otherwise, he lines it to third, and that's finally going to end the inning. But it's a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. It is now 5-0 Cubs, and when you give Greg Maddux a 5-0 lead, your prospects do not look very good, unfortunately for the Reds. All right, so Herm Winningham will start things off. Winningham, Larkin, and Benzinger. 1-4-5, and now Maddux is semi-fresh since we're in the fourth inning. It's a 1-4-5. He's not a struggler, so it's going to be a ground out to first base. Taken by Grace to the bag himself. 1 away. That'll bring up Larkin. He grounded to third his first time up. 4-4-5. Is he a workman? No, Maddux is not a workman. Is Larkin patient? No, he's not. He's going to ground it to first. So again, another ground ball. And that's 2 up and 2 down. Grace makes easy plays. A no sweat inning for Maddux, it appears. Here's Benzinger. 1-2-3 is flash and fresh. He's got semi-flash. The dot says no, so it won't be a strikeout. It'll simply be a ground out to short to end the inning. So 3 up and 3 down go the Reds. And the homestand is not off to a good start, obviously. As we now head to the top of the fifth. And leading off will be Kurt Wilkerson. 1-2-5. Pitcher's not a struggler. Is he patient? No, he's actually eager. So he's going to ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's a semi. Dot says he is. So Wilkerson will strike out. 1 down. And before I go any further, let's look at get the final numbers on Scudder. What looked promising turned into pretty much disaster. Scudder is going to go 3 2/3 innings. He's going to give up 6 hits and 5 runs all earned. 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. And of course, he's on the hook to go 0-2. Barring a major comeback. All right, here's Dunston. He doubled his last time up. Oh, we got Suadice. Let's re-roll that again. 2-3-4. There's no run on base. Is he a hot batter? No, he's a semi-hot batter because of the double last time, but the dot doesn't give it to him. So he's going to pop it to third, and that's going to be 2 away. Sabo puts that away. 2 down for Girardi. Girardi singled and doubled. He's 2 for 2. 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer, though? No, he's not a whiffer. So we got outfield drama again, and everybody's neutral. And we get a 13. 1-3. 1-3 outfield drama, everybody neutral. Center fielder iron. No, Winningham is not iron, so it will not be a single. He will make a running catch to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning there for Burtsis. That's probably going to be all for Burtsis. Pitched an inning and a third. They may not want to tax him further than that. Save him for other games in the series, perhaps. Start the bottom of the fifth. It'll be Orlando Rooms. Hatcher and Oster, scheduled hitters. (1-5-6). Back to the regular chart. Is he a whiffer? Yes, he is. It's a strikeout. Rooms 0 for 2 with 2 Ks against Maddox. And that'll send up Billy Hatcher. 115. Is he fresh? Yes, he's got semi-fresh. The dot gives it to him. So it's going to be a pop-up to the infielder of our choice. We'll see what the dice say. To short. So he pops it up to Dunston at short for out number 2. And that's going to send up Ron Oster. 156 again. Asking, is he a whiffer? Oster semi. Dot says no, though. So we've got an outfield drama for the Cubs. And again, everybody's iron if we get a dot. Yep, they're all iron. All 3 are iron in the outfield. So something's going to happen here. 1-5. Outfield drama, 1-5. Everybody's iron. Left fielder gold. No, he's not gold. It'll be a single to left, and it's in purple. So we're going to the chemistry chart. So Ron Oster gets a 2-out single. And we're going to the chemistry chart for the at-bat of Joe Oliver. Reds are going to be fully dissonant while the Cubs are neutral. And we get a 55 on the chemistry. 55 for the chemistry. Pitching team dissonance. No, they're not. So it's going to be a foul out to Girardi to end the inning. So that will do it. Nothing doing for the Reds. They get a hit and nothing else. We've played 5 innings here in Cincinnati. And the score remains 5-0 Cubs. And since we didn't get to the pitcher spot, they might go ahead and let Burtis go another inning. Not worry about a double switch. Here's Maddox. 1-2-4. And a 1-2-4 talks about control, which he doesn't have. Is Maddox eager? Maddox is eager, so he will pop it up to first. And there's 1 away. Maddox very much eager right there on his card. 1 down. Back to the top of the order for Walton. He has walked twice. 2-2-3. Not wild. Is he slugger or utility? Walton is none of that. He will single to left field. If he's active, he will steal. He's semi-active, but the dot says no. So Walton will settle with a single. And that'll take us to Sandberg. 1-4-6. Does he have flash? Yes, he does. This is his only quality is flash. That's a strikeout. Out number 2. Now he just has to get Mark Grace to get out of the inning. 1-2-3. Flash and fresh. He's not fresh anymore. So it will simply be a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. In fact, it's going to be a fielder's choice, 6-4. And so Burtis gets out of it. And he will be pinch hit for. So we'll get the final numbers on Burtis. They weren't bad. Just the inherited runners he allowed to score. That was the only thing. Both those charged to Scudder. So otherwise, he goes 2 1/3. Gives up 3 hits and no runs. No walks and 2 strikeouts. But he did allow those 2 inherited runners to score. So that's something that doesn't show up on the box score. All right, so we need a pinch hitter for Mr. Burtis. Pinch hitting time for Burtis, and Tim Layana will be the new pitcher for the Reds in the top of the 7th. It'll be Tim Layana coming on to pitch. But we need a pinch hitter for Burtis. Let's see who that's going to be. It will be Ken Griffey. So Ken Griffey is going to pick up a bat and hit for Burtis. Here in the top of the 6th, or bottom of the 6th, rather. Last possible inning for semi-freshness on Maddox. However, he keeps a shutout. He keeps the semi-freshness going. So we go to the bench for Griffey. Pull him off the bench to pinch hit for Bertzis. Griffey on the replay hitting .357 in just 14 at bats. No homers or runs driven in. 5.56. That's a good one to get for Griffey. That's going to be a double unless he's a sad sack. He is a sad sack. How about that? That cost him a double. If he had not been a sad sack, he would have had a double, but the sad sack means he lines to first. He's a semi-sad sack. The dot gives it to him. So the double is taken away. How about that? It's kind of nice spin for the Reds. So Griffey is retired. So pretty much any other pinch hitter I had would have got a double. Except for Griffey. He was the only sad sack there. But trying to play the percentages lefty-righty, that's who I went with. All right, here's Sabo. Can't win them all. 3, 4, 5. Iron catcher Joe Girardi is not iron. He doesn't have a good eye, so he will strike out. Will Sabo. And it's going to take us to the right now chart, where Greg Maddux is now a hot pitcher based on that strikeout. And Winningham is neutral. So we got a hot pitcher against a neutral batter on the right now chart. And we get a 56. Hot pitcher, neutral batter, 56. Hot pitcher shows best stuff for tire side, alternating groundouts and flyouts, but that was already the third. This would be the third out. So it says here alternating groundouts. So it's going to be a ground out. Back to Maddux. So it's a 1-3 ground out to end the inning. Maddux tossing 6 shutout frames here at the Reds. And he will keep his semi-freshness going a little bit longer. Coming in to pitch for the Reds will be Tim Layana, right-hander. Definitely a mop-up duty for Layana. And on the replay, Layana, 1-1 with a save, a 4.02 earned run average, 16 innings pitched, 11 hits, 4 walks, and 18 strikeouts. He does not get the ace quality because he's starting an inning. He only gets the ace quality if he comes in the middle of an inning. Here's Dawson. He's 2 for 3. Hello, D. Scott. 1-3-4. 1-3-4. Gold catcher, no. Oliver's not gold. Is he a champion? Dawson's not a champion. So we got outfield drama for the Reds. And again, everybody is neutral. We got a 1-3 on the outfield drama with all neutral. 1-3, center fielder iron. Nope. Another lining catch for Winningham because he was neutral, not iron. And he retires Dawson. 1 down for Dwight Smith. Smith is 0 for 3. 2.55. I believe it's asking if he's a star. Layana, yes, it's asking if he's a star. Layana, no, I'm sorry, 2.55. Yep, it's a star check. He's a semi-star. Doc gives it to him. It's a strikeout. So Layana strikes out Smith. And for Dwight Smith, he's had a rough night. He's 0 for 4. One of the few Cubs that are having a rough night, along with Wilkerson. He's 0 for 3. So number 5 and 6 hitters in the lineup not doing so well, but everybody else is. 3-3-4, ace or star. He is a semi-star, but the dot fails him this time. Is he a sad sack? Wilkerson's not a sad sack. He will single to left unless he's eager. He is eager. So on this result, on the 3-3-4, there's a little flag there. It would be a single, but it's a little flag, and the flag says that if he's eager, he grounds out. So it's going to be a ground out. Let's find out where the ground out goes. It's going to go to first. So Benzinger will take it to the bag himself to end the inning. So the fact that Wilkerson was overeager cost him a hit. And that's going to do it for the Cubs here in the top of the 7th. Now, since Maddux is pitching a shutout, That means he still keeps his semi-freshness. That does not go away until he loses the shutout. Loses a shutout, then it goes away. But right now, he's still okay on that. And since it is the bottom of the seventh, we are at the seventh inning stretch here in Cincinnati. Get ready for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. All right. We are ready to go to the bottom of the seventh. It'll be Barry Larkin starting things off. 3-5-5. And that's asking, is the pitcher a struggler? No, he's not. Is the batter a champion? No, Larkin's not a champion. He will ground to second. Unless he's a whiffer, he's not a whiffer. So the ground out to second is good. Sandberg throws him out. And there's one away. So talking about a non-stressful outing for Greg Max. You're looking at one right here. Here's Benzinger. He's limited the Reds to 3 hits, all one double. Sabo led off the game with a double. Other than that, it's just been 2 innocent singles, one by the pitcher Scudder. 2-2-2. That might get him somewhere. 2-2-2. Is he a sad sack? Benzinger's not a sad sack, so that's going to be a double unless he is a home run king, and then he gets a home run. He's not a home run king, but it will be a double for Todd Benzinger. Benzinger cracks a double. 1-out double, and that will take us to Rolando Rooms. He had to step in for the injured O'Neill. O'Neill got injured in the game day checks. He's out for this game only, so Rolando Rooms had to take his place. And he hasn't done too well. Rooms is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. 1-5-6. Is he a whiffer? Yes, he is. So that's the third. He's over. He's got the hat trick. 0 for 3 with 3 Ks. He's hit that whiffer check every time. And that's 2 away for Billy Hatcher. 1-2-3. Flash and fresh. Yes, because he's got the shutout going, so the dot gives him the flash, and it also gives him the fresh. So that's going to be a strikeout for Maddox to end the inning, and that's 7 complete. Would have been a grounded to short otherwise, so it would have been an out either way, just what kind of out it was. So that's a strikeout to end the inning. We go to the 8th. Still 5-0 Cubs. At least the Reds bullpen has kind of quieted things down a bit, but that 4-run fourth was what really did it to Scudder. 9 Reds came to the plate. They got 5 hits in that inning. Scored 4 runs. They haven't looked back since. Here's Dunston. 1-2-5. Pitcher's not a struggler. Is he patient? No, he's actually eager. So he's going to ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's a semi, and the dot gives it to him. So that is a strikeout for Mr. Leana. Striking out Dunston. Here is Girardi. That's a 1-4-6. Does he have flash? Yes, he does, but no, he does not. The dot takes it away. So it would have been a strikeout. Is the batter a champion? No, he's not a champion. So he's going to ground to second, and that's out number 2. And there's no way they're taking Greg Maddux out, so he's going to go ahead and hit. Maddux is 0 for 2. Actually 0 for 3, rather. It says 4th at bat. If the pitcher's having his 4th at bat, you know they're having a good game. 1-2-3, flash and fresh. Yes, he is. And he gets the strikeout on Maddux in the inning. Bottom of the 8th we go. Still 5-0 Chicago. It'll be Oster, Oliver, and a pinch hitter for Leana. So that's going to be all for Leana. He is done. Leana is going to go 2 innings. And we'll get the numbers on Leana. the official numbers so I can complete his pitching line. Leana, 2 innings pitched, gives up nothing, strikes out 3. So obviously a very bright outing for Leana, but it may go to waste maybe. Although it did save the bullpen from having to use so many guys. So, but we do need a pinch hitter, and it looks like Hal Morris has picked up a bat to hit for Leana when the time comes. So it'll be Oster, Oliver, and Morris due up for the Reds here in the bottom of the 8th. As they at least try to, even if they can't win the game, they at least like to get that 0 off the board, if nothing else. But first things first, it's Oster, and Oster is 1 for 2. Triple fours, he might be more than that now. Triple fours, is he a scrapper? Oster is a scrapper, so it's going to be a single. It could have been a double if he wasn't a scrapper. But he'll take the single. Makes him 2 for 3 off of Maddox. And that's going to send up Joe Oliver with Morris on deck. 2-2-5. Is the pitcher a star? Maddox is a semi-star, but the dot doesn't give it to him. Slugger or sad sack for Oliver? Neither one. He's going to single to center field. So how about that? All of a sudden, first 2 were on against Maddox here in the 8th. And now the pinch hitter, Hal Morris, has been announced. And he will step to the plate to see what he can do. He has had a very rough replay, although his season stats in real world are very good. In History Maker to this point, he has not done so well. He's hitting 105 in 19 at-bats. No homers and 1 driven in. So he's going to see what he can do here to try to help his team. That's a 1-4-5. Pitcher is not a struggler, so it's a ground ball to first. It'll be a double play. Oster will take third, but Oliver is going to be a race. It's going to be a 3-6-3 double play. Just not what they wanted from a pinch hitter. But it's what they got, and it's what Maddox will force you to do. Hit those ground balls when you don't want to, and it comes into a 3-6-3 double play. Ultimate rally killer. And now here's Sabo. Sabo led off the game with double, but since then he's hit into a double play and struck out. 1-2-4, control. You know Maddox always has control. And that's a ground out to short to end the inning. So the Reds come away empty-handed. They got 2 on with nobody out and could not score them. Just the kind of night it's been for Cincinnati. So we go to the top of the 9th. Last chance coming up in the bottom half for the Reds. But they've got to negotiate the top of the 9th and find out who's going to pitch. Who are they going to bring in to pitch from their bullpen? And it appears it will be Norm Charlton. Left-hander Norm Charlton coming on. So Charlton will make his appearance. That's pretty much all they got left in the bullpen are the 3 nasty boys, so they're going to go with Charlton. And he'll be facing Walton, Sandberg, and Grace, top of the order. Here at the top of the 9th of a 5-0 game. 1-2-5. He's not a struggler. Is the batter patient? Walton is not patient. He will ground to third unless he's a whiffer. He's a semi, and the dot gives it to him, so struck him out. So Walton is retired on strikes. Hello, Mr. Robert. Unfortunately, not a close game. Greg Maddux is doing Greg Maddux stuff, and the Reds couldn't handle it. All right, here's Sandberg. 1-4-6. So you have flash. Charlton definitely has flash. It's going to be a strikeout. So Sandberg actually gets the hat trick. That's his 3rd strikeout. Of course, he's also singled twice, but it's his 3rd strikeout. So 2 up, 2 down for Mark Grace. 2-4-6. Control. Charlton does not have that. Eager or sad sack, neither one. So Mark Grace is going to draw the base on balls. Keep the inning going. with a 2-out walk and bring up the hawk, Andre Dawson. Oh, forgot to give the numbers on Charlton when he came in. I'll give them to you now after this 3 batters he's faced. He's 1-1 with a 3.93 ERA, no saves, 18 innings pitched, 18 hits, 11 walks, and 18 strikeouts. And here he is facing Dawson. 2.46, the same result. He does not have the control quality. Is Dawson eager? No, he's semi-eager. Dot says no, so it's another walk. So back-to-back walks after he retires. After he strikes out the first 2, then he turns around and walks the next 2. And now that'll bring up Dwight Smith. Although I think the Cubs are going to make a move. Dwight Smith is 0 for 4 with a couple of Ks, and he's not a very good outfielder. He's a semi-iron outfielder. So I think the Cubs are going to make a move here, bring in a new left fielder and a pinch hitter and a new left fielder that gives them a little bit better defense. So they will go with who they might want to go with for defensive purposes here. Looks like they're going to go with Lloyd McClendon off the bench, and McClendon will take over in left field for Dwight Smith. He is a righty. So McClendon taking over for Dwight Smith, who finishes the game 0 for 4. So McClendon, we'll see what he can do here against Charlton. 1-2-4, control, does not have it. Is the batter eager? No, he's actually semi-patient, so that's another walk. He's going to walk the bases loaded with Charlton as McClendon gets the base on balls. 3, all of a sudden, he just can't find the strike zone. 3 consecutive walks, and Curtis Wilkerson is your batter. Bases are loaded now with 2 outs for Wilkerson. And he's now a semi-struggler because he's given up 3 consecutive base runners. 1-3-5, that's the unusual play result. First time we had that tonight. The red 3 and the black 5. A red 3 and a black 5 means we go to memorable plays in the field. I'm sorry, the 1 is the umpire chart. Blue, what am I doing? It's a blue 1, so we're going to the umpire chart with the bases loaded. Umpire chart, blue 1. Bases are loaded, umpire chart. First time we've been to the umpires all game. They've been quiet the whole game, but they're going to have something to say here. That's a 56, strict umpire at home. Randy Marsh is not strict. He is semi-respected, but he's not strict. If he was strict, it'd be a call, 3rd strike, other umpires, ball 4, base on ball. So how about that? The 4th consecutive walk given up by Charlton, and that's going to force a run in. 4 walks in a row, and Lou Piniella just is beside himself. He doesn't know what to think. He strikes out the first 2 guys he faces, then he walks 4 in a row. And he's yelling at Randy Marsh, saying he's getting squeezed over there, but Marsh is telling him to shut up or if you want to get kicked out of this game. But Lou Piniella is raising a fuss, and Marsh is just giving him the heave-ho. He says, Lou, you go ahead and finish the rest of the game from the showers. And Lou probably doesn't want to watch any more of it anyway. So Lou Piniella has just been ejected from the ball game for arguing balls and strikes with Randy Marsh. But he probably doesn't want to watch anything anyway. So now Charlton's a full struggler against Dunston. That's a 1-3-6. 1-3-6. Ask, is the pitcher an ace? He's a semi-ace, but the dot says no. Is the batter whiffer or cold? Dunston is a semi-whiffer, but we got to see if he's a whiffer or not. Already used this for Charlton, so we got to use it again for Dunston. Got to re-roll it. And he's not a whiffer. Is he cold? Dunston, his last at bat, struck out, so he is cold. So he will strike out. So Charlton, schizophrenic inning there. Walks 4, strikes out 3, gives up 1 run. So 1 inning pitch, no hits, a run, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts for Charlton. And now Greg Maddux with a chance to try to pitch a complete game. Lloyd McClendon is in the left field now for the Cubs. He is now playing left field. Now we have to see if Maddox keeps his semi-freshness. He's got a shutout through 8, but to get the shutout in the 9th, you need the decider die to get that. He got it, so he's still semi-fresh. So Maddox now has a chance to fully complete this game since he's semi-fresh. Definitely has that opportunity. Facing Herm Winningham. 6-0 Cubs, bottom of the 9th. 2-2-6. Hit by pitch. Yes, he is. The dot is there, so Winningham gets plunked. Maddox usually much better control than that, but that one kind of got away from him. And he plunks Winningham. So Winningham's aboard. Here's Barry Larkin. 2-4-4. Is he an ace? No, he's not an ace. Is the batter a champion? No, he's not. It's a ground out to short. And on lead die of 2, that's a fielder's choice. So they will retire Winningham at second base. Larkin will take over at short, or at first, rather. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice, 1 away. And now Maddox 2 outs away from that complete game shutout. Due up now is Benzinger. 2-4-5. Is Benzinger a hero? No, he's not. He's going to pop it up to second for out number 2, and that results in red. We're going to the experience chart, or we would, but we're going to get a pinch hitter for Orlando Rooms, and that will override that. So we're going to stay on the regular chart. And a pinch hitter for the Reds, it's going to be Luis Quinones. He will pinch hit for Rooms. Luis Quinones. And we'll get the numbers on Quinones. We'll get somebody some at bats. Rooms has struck out all this time, so there's no sense giving him more strikeouts. So Quinones will take over as the pinch hitter. He's hitting .077. He's 1 out of 13. No homers, but he does have 3 runs batted in. He's walked 5 times. So here's Quinones in the pinch. Triple fours. How about that? Quinones gets a triple 4. Is he a scrapper? Yes, he's a scrapper. So it'll be a single versus a double. So it won't be an RBI double. It'll be a single, which will put runners at the corners. So the fact he's a scrapper took that double away and made it a single, which means that the runner, Larkin, could not score. He has to stop at third base. 2 on, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, 6-0 lead. 7 hits now for the Reds. They've scattered 7 hits, but have not been able to put anything together against Maddox. Maddox, who is a little bit fatigued now, but he's going to try to finish out this game. If he gives up a run, we'll probably take him out. We'll give him a chance for the shutout, though. 1-2-2. Is he a workman? No, Maddox is not a workman. Is he a champion or a whiffer? No, he's not. So that means he's going to line out the third, and there's your ball game. Greg Maddox has done it. A complete game shutout, 7-hitter, as it turns out. A 7-hitter. 6-9-0 for the Cubs, 0-7-0 for the Reds. For Scott Scudder drops to 0-2. The Reds themselves drop to 17-9. Cubs improved to 15-13. Scudder's ERA is now 19.06. It was 31 before the game started, so he at least improved that a little bit. But Cubs left on 10, Reds left on 6. So not a pleasant outing at all for Cincinnati, their first game on the road trip, on the homestand rather. Hey, Brian B., didn't see you sneak in there. Sorry about you losing power. The Reds lost power, too. They couldn't do anything against Greg Maddox, unfortunately, as they dropped a decision of 6-0. As we look at the rest of the homestand for the Reds, the rest of the series, rather, against Chicago, let's see who the future pitching matchups are going to be. Let's see here. On May the 12th, the next game is Mike Bilecki against Tom Browning. And then the final game of the series will match Mike Harkey against Don Robinson. So there you go. Reds unable to put the runs across. They left 6 on base, scattered 7 hits, but just couldn't put anything together. And poor Scott Scudder just was going along good for about 3 innings, and then after that he just imploded. And there's no other way to say it. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all enjoyed that presentation of History Maker Baseball, especially if you're a Greg Maddux fan. I know Greg Maddux fans enjoyed it. Again, the game day chart, Paul O'Neill was injured, could not play, but he's only out for this game, so he will be back in the starting lineup for tomorrow, for the next game in the series. He'll be back to being eligible. So the next game in the series will be Mike Bilecki taking on Tom Browning. Much better matchup for the Reds than this one turned out to be. Tomorrow night, we'll be back on Stratomatic. We'll be in Oakland. It'll be the Battle of the Erics. It'll be Eric Plunk for the A's against Eric King for the Tigers. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all have a wonderful Monday evening. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the hobby. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.